Hi, I'm Darla from Cintas.
Oh, thank goodness you're here. We have so much to do. I need fire extinguishers, right?
We'll place them for you and be out for regular inspection.
Great. And what about my new hires?
We'll get them into uniforms and keep them looking sharp.
What about this first aid cabinet?
Fully stocked.
It wasn't this morning.
It is now. And so are the restrooms.
Wow, Cintas really seems to know what we need.
You said it.
Oh, I'm ready.
Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday. Visit Cintas.com.
Welcome to Rise to the Top, a college football betting podcast with your host and number one college football handicapper, Freddy Wills.
Welcome back, college football bettors. This is Freddy Wills, a college football betting podcast. This is my Friday Commute podcast that has been growing in popularity, mainly because we've given out 4 winners against the spread, which covered by more than 3 touchdowns. Last week was nothing different. We gave out Missouri minus 13.5. They go on and cover the spread by an amazing 33 points. We mentioned this on Tuesday's podcast where we broke down week 8. So make sure you go back and check that podcast out as well. As, there's still a lot of good information in there, even though I'm recording this Thursday night. Last Thursday night I recorded my Friday Commute podcast, and I was excited because play of the day, Houston minus 3 they were up by 17. Looked like it was going to be, an easy cover. At worst case, a push, because you know how Memphis can come back. And unfortunately, Houston's defense didn't get one stop in the second half. So I kind of jinxed myself by mentioning that. Fortunately, I don't have any plays tonight. I didn't see any value on the card, and sometimes you just have to pass. But overall, last week it was a profitable week. We went 6-3 against the spread. Really, Houston and Michigan cost me big time. It would have been a larger profitable week, but we barely scraped through with a profit despite going 6-3. And as you know, I'm full disclosure all the time. My records are out there. Most handicappers won't show you their complete history. I do. I never hide from it. There's a reason why I've won 7 out of 8 seasons I've done this for college football. So all my stuff is out there. The one losing season I had was just a 5% loss, so nothing huge. It was nearly 8 of 8. But right now I'm down about 22%, and I'm very confident that it's going to be turned around. I was in a similar spot last year, down 15%. And we turned it around to complete the season, and we finished the season with a 39% return on investment. So I actually just slashed my prices for the rest of the season package, $239. Head on over to freddywills.com to pick that up. It is guaranteed or your money back. My full season I usually offer the next season. This, since we're more than halfway through the season, $239. Since I'm having such a bad year, minus 22%, I think you're getting in at a great time. Like I said, I think I profited about 55% from this point on last year. So usually always really good in bowl season. So I think it's a complete value package. And again, guaranteed or your money back. If I don't profit, you get your money back. So definitely check that out. And I appreciate you listening. So on today's podcast, I'm talking about Friday night's game between Florida State and Boston College out of the ACC conference. I was fortunate enough to pick a 2.5 when the line was down there. Now I realize this line has moved up, so I'll give it out on today's podcast for what it is. And I'm going to go with Florida State minus 4 here. And I'm hoping it's another one of those big victories like we've been able to pull off the previous week. I really do think it has a shot. So I'm happy. My numbers have this at minus 6 Florida State. And I think we have a lot of recency bias that's giving us even more line value than what my stats and analytics are telling me. So I definitely think there's value here if you're listening to this late and this line jumps. Really, Boston College was on our sell high list for this week's podcast, which you can find by visiting freddywills.com or searching iTunes for college football betting. I'll be the number one podcast that comes up. We talked about that on last week's or earlier in the week's podcast. Boston College has covered the spread by more than 14 points in back-to-back weeks. I think it's actually been over 20 points in back-to-back weeks. And they've been impressive in doing so against the likes of Louisville and Virginia, two solid teams out of the ACC, two teams that are probably going to a bowl. Boston College got their running game going in both those games, 237 yards rushing and 364 yards rushing. And really that's the difference. And whenever you look at Boston College, when they do well, they're able to run the ball. So it's no secret what they need to do to be able to win. Against Florida State, they're going to have a tough time running the ball, in my opinion. And we'll talk on it right here. Florida State ranks similar to Boston College's recent opponents. They rank 44th from a rushing yards per carry perspective. Louisville ranks 50th. Virginia ranks 56th. So you may be saying, Fred, like, what are you talking about here? Why wouldn't Boston College be able to run the ball on them? From that perspective, you would assume Boston College would be able to run the ball based on those rankings. But Florida State's defense is really underrated and have played a tough schedule. They probably played one of the toughest schedules all year. I think they are a top 20 defense, and they're facing a one-dimensional attack of Boston College, let's be honest. And they should be able to shut this offense down, in my opinion. When looking at Boston College's recent opponent run defenses, we find out that Virginia played an average opponent ranking 92nd in rushing offense. When looking at Louisville, they have played an average opponent ranking 72nd in rushing offense. Florida State has faced three top 30 rushing offenses with an overall 44th average ranking. So I think Florida State's defense can dominate in this game. They rank 44th versus the run, and better than Louisville, better than Virginia, and they're better than what their ranking says because they've played opponents that are really good at running the ball. Boston College has gotten shut down at times this year, so I'm gonna fade Boston College here in terms of their running game. Offensively is where Florida State has struggled this year, and we have to bring it up. Florida State, however, is finally playing a poor defense. Now, you wouldn't think Boston College is a poor defense, but when you really look at the numbers, they are. Boston College ranking 112th versus the run. Obviously, Florida State with an inexperienced quarterback in James Blackman, who actually cost them their last game against Louisville in the final minute, they need to run the ball. Now, unfortunately, Florida State just lost their junior running back who's been taking most of the carries, in Jacquez Patrick. So I'm aware of that. I still feel confident that they're going to run the ball. I think freshman Cam Akers is the one who's going to get the bulk of the carries, and I think he can be a star, almost in the Dalvin Cook mold, dare I say it. Florida State's actually faced some very good run defenses so far, ranking 1, 14, 41, 58, 55, 50th. And in the 58th ranked run defense, which is the worst they faced, was Miami, who, I think we can all agree has a better run defense than that. The last thing I'll touch on, because I just laid out a path for Florida State on offense and defense to control this game, is motivation. And, no doubts, Florida State had higher hopes this year. They came in ranked number 2 in the country. And then, they lost to Alabama. Then the Hurricane kind of delayed their season a bit there, along with the key injury to their quarterback, Francois. They're playing a lot of young players now on offense, and it's pivotal that they get to a bowl game and get that extra practice. So you may say, the motivation for them to win is not there. I think opposite. I think Jimbo Fisher is a great motivator. I think he's a great coach, and I think this is just the week it happens where they finally get that big win. I'm not concerned with the short week and the travel. They just have a big talent edge here, and I think actually they'll be pumped up about playing Friday night under the lights. This game's on ESPN, so Florida State's really going to look to showcase their talent in this game, and I think there's a big talent edge. You play this, rewind a couple of weeks, and you play this game, and I think we're getting over a touchdown of line value here. So, let's state right now, as long as Florida State concentrates on running the ball, and Jimbo Fisher has been known to run the ball more on the road, which is why you see them playing better on the road at times. I think that this team should win this game by double digits here. And Florida State. Unfortunately, like I said, I got it at -2.5, but there's a lot of 4s out there. There's 4.5s. I'll stand by it. Florida State, -4. 3% bankroll play. So I'm pretty confident in the play. And that's your Friday podcast play. Again, I appreciate all you guys listening. And please, I get emails and tweets thanking me for the podcast. The best thing you could do is give me some reviews on iTunes. Again, you can just Google College Football Betting Podcast iTunes, or I have it linked on my website, freddywills.com. Again, you want to make sure that you also
subscribe to Freddy's Premium Sports Picks newsletter, free at freddywills.com.
We gave out another winner on that newsletter last week, so you parlay that with the Missouri winner from Friday. We went 2-0 for you for plays we're just giving you out for free. So make sure you check that out. And this week you'll probably get a third pick, since this play is a premium play and not a free play like last week. You'll also be able to get my free play on freddywills.com. Links in the show notes. And like I said and mentioned, you can pick up the rest of my season guaranteed or your money back. Appreciate you guys for listening. Good luck in week number 9. A lot of good games out there. Make sure you're smart about it. Just because the game's on TV doesn't mean you have to bet it. Penn State and Ohio State, perfect example. That's a game that I'm most likely not going to bet. I'll touch on it here in a second. I mean, I think that there could be a lot of variance in that game. I think the value is probably with Ohio State. At the end of the day, like, who have they played, though? And it's really kind of hard to predict what's going to happen. Really, the key is whether or not JT Barrett can pass on Penn State. And then the other key on the flip side is whether or not McSorley can throw up those deep balls against that secondary and have his receivers continually to come down with them. Urban Meyer is one of the best coaches off a bye. I don't want to fade that. So when you toss it all up, I see this game can go either way. I wouldn't be shocked with any type of result. And I do think Ohio State has the advantages in the trenches. I think they should win. Haven't been very impressed with JT Barrett throwing the ball, although he was extremely impressive 2 weeks ago at Nebraska. Really, both teams probably want revenge here. I mean, Ohio State went on the road at Penn State. The blocked field goal, returned for a touchdown. They lost. So Ohio State wants a revenge from that perspective. But Ohio State still got into the college football playoff despite not even winning the Big Ten. Penn State won the Big Ten and didn't go. Ohio State win. So I think Penn State wants to prove themselves again. But can they get back up after a big win over Michigan? It took a full effort. I mean, the entire game, even though they blew them out, they were looking to blow them out because they remembered 49-10 the year before. So overall, that's a game that I'll key on just for you sports bettors. I know a lot of people like action. That's a game that sometimes you just have to watch. Or maybe you get involved with live betting because you can kind of tell what way the game is going. So if I do make a wager, it's going to be live wagering because I'll definitely be watching. I just wanted to throw that in there a little bit for you guys that are still learning to bet. But again, if you don't like what you're hearing here, head on over to sportsbetcapping.com. Tons of professional handicappers over there that handicap the NBA, college basketball, NFL, NHL, all those sports. There's free picks up there. Appreciate you guys listening, and take care.
Subscribe to Freddy's Premium Sports Picks newsletter, free at freddywills.com.
Mary, you're glowing gold.
I know. I joined the Fuel Rewards program and got rewarded with instant gold status at Shell.
And now your body radiates gold?
Yes, and I save 5 cents a gallon on every fill every day.
5 cents a gallon? Wow.
And gold is all the rage this season.
Oh, yeah.
Get rewarded with instant gold status at Shell with the Fuel Rewards program. It's free to join, so join now at fuelrewards.com/gold. Restrictions apply. Active gold status required. Introductory offer valid for 6 months after activation. Limit 20 gallons at participating Shell stations. See fuelrewards.com/gold for full details. Doesn't actually turn bodies gold.